EnglishSimmer here, and this video is brought to you through the EA Creator Network because I did receive early access. I had an early look at the brand new expansion pack High School Years for The Sims 4, and this is my build and buy mode overview, in which I'm gonna be going through all the objects, talking about some of my favorites, talking about some missed opportunities, basically just like browsing through, telling you all that I know, and giving you a look at what you can expect from that catalogue. Also, please do keep in mind, because this was early access, this is not final software, and any issues that I did run into, I fed back to the team, and fingers crossed they will be looked into and hopefully fixed before release. I honestly don't even know if I'm gonna get through like everything that I want to talk about in this video, because I've written a fair few notes when it comes to build and buy mode. So to start off in this overview, I do think that everything is very cohesive. I think there's extremely strong theming, minus obviously like some of the assets that were needed for like the sets of the school and the festivals, and obviously the things needed to build your own bubble store. But that doesn't even just mean that like the colors are cohesive and they match with one another, which is what I've said about a lot of build and buy mode recently. I think the team have been killing it when it comes to the catalogs. It's not just the colors that are cohesive, but it's actual like matching assets. Obviously there was a definite focus on the school, and then at home there was a significant focus on teen bedrooms, which I think helps with this because all of the sets match. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, every bed has a single version and a double version. The desks, beds, dressers, bookshelves, they all match with one another. So for example, there's like a specific set that has marble sort of countertops, and you can see that replicated in different options, which I think is really, really nice. It feels like Sims 2 teen stuff, which was actually like one of my favorite stuff packs for The Sims 2. So maybe I am a little bit biased that it actually replicates that a bit. However, I will say one downside of that is that there feels like there's too much storage to me, because you have like desks that have optional storage, you have clothing rails, you have bookcases, then shelves themselves, and it just feels like too many sort of bulky objects along with the dressers and the wardrobes. That's like the only negative I could personally find, especially like if you have all those big ticket items in your room. It's gonna feel a little bit overcrowded, but I do like how you can mix and match with everything and definitely inject some personality into your teen rooms. There's definitely Art Deco inspired items running through this pack, and some of them even look like upcycled, which I think is quite cute. Kind of ties in with the thrifty type stuff. I definitely prefer the catalogue that has to do with the teen bedrooms, but that's just like personal preference. I'm personally not going to be building too many schools. As you all know, I am not a builder. I cannot wait to see what builders actually come up with. I've seen Simlicity School from early access and like absolutely fell in love with it. I can't wait to see what people do with the schools and those items, but personally they're just not for me. I definitely play more at home, and that's where I feel comfortable. I love like having interiors that feel lived in. They definitely are gonna relate to like the personality, which is really, really nice to see. However, even though there was a strong focus on school and then also on the bedrooms, it's not just exclusive to those two areas. I do feel like a lot of this is going to be usable in like other public spaces like parks and things like that. However, I will say on the other hand, because they focused on the home and bedroom so much, it does feel slightly lacking when it comes to sort of different styles of the more public use stuff. So for example, the toilet stall and the sink, there's one of each, and they're very Art Deco, obviously to fit in with the school vibe that they went for in this specific pack. So unless you have those assets from, say, Discover University, that also encourages you to have stalls for the toilets and things like that, I think this is actually going to be quite difficult to get a different feeling school, unless you just build using base base game and like all the toilets that we have in there and do like your own cubicles, which I know people are used to doing, especially if you don't have packs like Discover University. I do think it just limits you a lot more if you say pick up this pack and yet you don't really have a lot of the other expansions. So I feel like the living room you could deck out with all of this stuff. I feel like offices you could definitely deck out with items that come in this. So it's nice to see that the Sims team have said, right, we're going to focus on these, but we're still going to make the catalog feel like very versatile and make people feel like they have options, especially when it comes to like mixing and matching. And not everything is just tied to those very two specific themes. So big up the Sims team for that one. I am definitely a fan of it. There's side tables, sofas, chairs, etc., desks, bookshelves, and even those decor assets I still feel like you can use more around the house than just in bedrooms. I will definitely mirror what I said in my Create a Sim overview, and please do make sure that you are like checking every swatch because some items look completely different in the swatches. Yes, most of them do just like change colors and things like that, but there are some specific assets. I would definitely say the rugs, the beds, and also the posters especially, they can change the asset. So for example, one of the posters just looks like a set of posters. However, when you actually go through the swatches, there are versions that are flags. My favorite is the cow plant flag. I think it's sick. So definitely go through all the swatches, make sure you're not missing out on any of those. And there is also some modular furniture included. The first time we saw this was in Dream Home Decorator. I will say the wall one, there isn't as many options as there is on the floor console type thing that you can connect together. So that's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have the items that like replicate each other, because I would still love to have the ones that we have on the floor up on the wall for like a TV mount or something like that. I don't know why that decision was made to maybe not have as many wall ones, but I guess you could maybe use a cheat to get the floor ones to look like they're sticking on the wall. I don't know if that would work. I honestly haven't used modular furniture all too much, but I do think it's quite nice to see that as like a returning thing. Yes, there's not as much as there is in Dream Home Decorator. It doesn't look too different, although it does look a little bit more used. I feel like Dream Home Decorator was like very modern, whereas this one is a bit more like not antique-y, but kind of looks like it has a little bit of wear and tear. There are also clothes that can fit onto the hangers. We have a wall mounted like hanger wardrobe type thing, and then obviously with Thrifty, which I am so glad to see, there are a couple of like clothes hangers or dressers or clothes rails, I guess. Wow, why did that take me so long to come up with the word that I was looking for, that actually just stand on your floor. I've always said that I want like a more sleek version of that. We got one in Get Famous, but it was more like costume material and it was super bulky. We also got one in Moschino, but that looked a little bit too high fashion and I used it a lot. So I'm just glad that we have more clothes hangers for our Sims. Keep in mind, as I'm going through these assets, I did actually have the unlocks entitlement sheet on, whatever you want to call it. So some of these are locked. They are mainly to do with like after school activities and also prom. They're also mainly in clutter. There's not a lot of things that you have to unlock. You can get some through the career as well. For example, the like gold streaming PC. I think you get that as a reward for the career. So yes, whilst there is some lock stuff, it's not the most interesting. It's good for like clutter or if you want to tell a specific story with your sim. Just thought I would let you know. However, I so desperately wish that that also included the prom jester and the prom royalty crown and hat, because I am so sad that we can't use those as like decor options. I love that in Sims 3. When your Sims manage to win prom king or queen, which can I just say, thank you Sims 14 for making it more gender inclusive, you absolute angels. Can we just please get rid of the gendered toilets in the high school, and that would be great. But yeah, unfortunately they only lock in Create a Sim, which is a little bit sad. I definitely would use them more if they were decor items items rather than in Create a Sim. I honestly couldn't think of when I'm going to use them again in Create a Sim after they unlock, unless I'm going with like a royalty storyline, which is extremely difficult to do in The Sims 4, I imagine. Props to anyone who may have even like tackled a royalty storyline. I am not a royalist, thank you very much. I do not wish to have a crown on my sim. I would much prefer it if they could have it on a bookshelf to like show off to their friends or for like storytelling purposes. So that's just like a slight missed opportunity for me. Also, I know I've not really gotten to it, but you've probably seen them hovering in the background. The funfair rides are lurking in the back of this lot, and I am very, very glad to say that you can place these on any lot. They are in Debug, so you will have to do like the bb.show hidden objects cheat. You can place them anywhere, which if you are like me and you like having seasonal activities, or you very much miss seasonal festivals from The Sims 3, you can place down the Ferris wheel, the Haunted Mansion, and the Tunnel of Love. Thank goodness. They are all usable. I've tested them. They do still work like rabbit holes, but you can place them anywhere as long as you go into Debug. Obviously, we also got curved walls. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these. They do come as set pieces. James Turner, aka formerly known as The Sim Supply, has a great video on curved walls. He is a builder. He understands build mode. Gameplay is where my head is at. If you want to go check out more about curved walls, their limitations, what you can expect from them, James is probably one of the best people to do that, because I feel like he is a know-it-all when it comes to build mode and is also super smart at talking about these things, whereas I'm really not. But there are certain assets that like fit curved walls. Some of them come in the new pack and they've pretty much been made to like mold around. Some of the base game assets, there's only a few that sort of work with curved walls. They still have like a flat edge, so they do look kind of razor sharp. Honestly, you would not want your Sims walking into them because they would definitely scratch themselves or crack their heads open. I'll probably use these sometimes, but there's definite limitations to them right now. I did check out a little bit of James's video, and I do hope that they keep going back to these and like work on them to make them work better, because that's what I would expect. Oh, also I forgot to mention, curved walls come in base game, but then a lot of like the assets that are technically like more usable on them come in this expansion pack, just a heads up. So like the doors and windows. And then I also decided just to pull out some random objects that were also in live edit mode or debug, and whilst we're going through them, I'll talk about some things that I would have loved to see that weren't included in build and buy mode. I really would have loved a return of messy beds, especially with them focusing on the bedroom so much and having like so much clutter. Also, although there were like a fair few wall hangings, I definitely feel like we could have done with more. There just didn't seem to be that many, even though there were different swatches of some, which I found really, really interesting. I just always want more though, so of course I would want to see more in this. And there's also a fair few wall hangings that have records on them, and yet we still do not have a smaller single tile record player, like be it a suitcase player, which I definitely think would have fit in with the teen theme, because I think vinyl is so back in trend right now. So I really do feel like this pack would have been the perfect opportunity for that, and I know I keep going on about it, but I really, really want one. I would have loved to see a modern chess table, especially with the chess club after school activity. We did actually get 2 new chess tables, but they kind of just look like super similar to chess tables that we already have. I don't know why we don't have a glass one. I don't know why we don't have like an all silver or an all gold one. Definitely just something that looks a bit more modern, especially like in this day and age for The Sims. I feel like this is a very modern 2022 pack, and the chess tables just didn't vibe with that. Also would have loved a wall of fairy lights, so kind of like fairy lights in a waterfall to add to our Sims rooms. I really like the bed canopies And I would have also maybe loved to see, you know, the little like rounded canopies for either baby cribs or toddler beds, and then also maybe just to go over chairs. I know that would be a bit of a ball ache because of clipping and stuff like that, but I would have really liked to see it even if it did clip a little bit. My standout items in this pack were definitely the beds. Absolutely love all of them. Definitely think they add personality. Love all of the duvets that you can get for them, the patterns, the variety of beds. Like I said, I think we got 5, and they actually were all really, really nice. I can see me getting a lot of use out of them. The LED light strip, I'm so flipping glad that we finally have this. Only annoying thing is going to be like going in and changing all of those because they're quite short on a wall. They're just for like one strip of wall, so you're going to have to like place them all around your room and then probably go in and change the lighting effect. But I have used those tube base game lights for like under counter lighting, under the bed lighting, like lighting around my teen rooms for years, and I'm so glad that we finally just have an LED strip. Again, feels very modern, feels very in right now. Big props to the teams for that. Love the neon light, definitely a standout. Go through the swatches on it. It is sick. I love the circular and also the big rug. Again, I love the swatches that come on that one. The cow plant flag, I want one in real life, please and thank you, Sims team. I love the clothing rails. I've already kind of talked about those. The bed canopies are also sick. I actually didn't try it, but I do think they light up. I know the egg chair, which is another standout asset, lights up in the dark when it's nighttime. I did test that in this video. I'm fairly sure the bed canopies do the same because they have fairy lights running through them, but don't quote me on that one. I also can't remember if you can change the color on the fairy lights. Don't quote me on that one. They might change with the swatches. I'm not too sure. I love the pink and gold desk that has the little like rounded drawer system on it. Definitely looks very different to a lot of the desks that we have. Please, Sims team, take more risks like that. I love the macrame curtain, and I love all of the like woven macrame. I don't know what you would call it, but like the furniture that has all the strings and stuff. It's kind of like the boho vibe. Absolutely love them. So where do I think this is gonna fit in well with like packs that we already have? I definitely think Parenthood and University. I mean, those two also helped a lot with like personality. They both also focused on like teen inspired-y stuff and also like the home, so that I definitely think they're gonna fit in well. Also feel like maybe Moschino, because Moschino has some good clutter items that definitely feel a little more teen to me, whilst it does feel a little bit more high fashion. I feel like they're quite similar, but also like not so similar that they feel like they're overlapping, just that they're gonna complement each other quite well. And maybe get famous more for like the tech side of things though. I definitely feel like this is very usable. I feel like it's very versatile. I feel like if you are like me, you're a family game player and you really like lots feeling like lived in, you like to tell personality through your Sims room, you're gonna get a lot of use out of this build and buy mode. I would love to know what you lot think of this one. Do you think there's any like missed opportunities, any missing objects that you really think would have fit? I will hold my hands up and said I would have liked to see more clutter. I would have liked to see more just like small objects that give your Sims personality. But like I said, we got a lot of that in Parenthood and Discover Uni, so I just feel like this is gonna fit in well with that. It didn't really feel like we got a lot of smaller items. However, I am quite glad they focused on like those big ticket items, because I do feel like my bedrooms for a very long time in The Sims 4 have all felt the same, whereas the theming of this one is definitely going to add some versatility to them, and finally I can inject a bit more life into those rooms. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I would love to hear your thoughts, feedback on this one. Please do leave them in the comments down below. I'm going to leave a link to James's curved walls video because, like I said, man goes into way more detail than I ever could, is very educated on all of that stuff, and it was super helpful to me, so I feel like it's going to be super helpful for all of you to know the limitations and also what you can do with curved walls. He is a genius, so thank you very much for that, James. I appreciate you all so, so much. Once again, thank you for all the love on my early access. I'm probably gonna have my review up on Sunday. I really appreciate you all, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now. I just hit my microphone. Oh, also a small flipping microscope. How could I forget that? We got science class and we didn't even get a small microscope. That should have been included in build and buy mode. And that is a hill I will die on. The teachers even talk about it.